What's going on, guys? It's Clutch Hoops here, and today we're going to be talking about 5 NBA draft trades that must happen. Each year there are so many moves made by teams to either try and move up in the draft to get a player that fits their team, or move down to attain more picks, players, or a combination of the two. Last year we saw it with the DeAndre Hunter trade, the Jarrett Culver trade, the Matisse Thybulle trade, and so many more. This year teams are much more willing to trade their high picks, especially towards the top of the draft, so there's going to be a lot of movement heading into the draft, maybe even the most movement of picks we have seen in the past 5, maybe even 10 years. Even though the draft is still a month and a half away and there will be a lot of changes with the draft prospects, we still have a good idea of what prospects fit each team the best. In this video, we're going to be creating 5 extremely realistic trades, with the main piece being a draft pick to select a certain prospect that are too good not to happen. Keep in mind that these trades are by no means exact, and try to take away the main pieces rather than the overall trade, because each team can always add a bit to make the trade work. If you guys like this video idea and want to see more videos like this, make sure you leave a like and let's hop right into it. Trade number 1. The Celtics trade up to pick number 7 to select Tyrese Haliburton. In this trade, the Celtics will give up their 14th, 26th, and 30th picks in the draft to move up to the 7th overall pick to select Tyrese Haliburton. The Celtics are in absolutely no need of all these picks, as their roster is pretty stacked with depth, as they have a good 7 or 8 man rotation when everyone is healthy. One need for the Celtics though is guard play off the bench, as they really only have Brad Wanamaker. This was a huge issue in the playoffs because when Kemba struggled, the Celtics couldn't afford to take him out of the game since their guard play off the bench was so weak. Getting Haliburton fixes this issue, as he will not be a star in this league, but he will be a top tier facilitator who is also a great spot up shooter, passer, he can guard multiple positions, and he fits the Celtics roster playing next to shooters. The Celtics are in no position to draft 3 players in the first round with the amount of depth they have outside of the guard position. However, one team that needs to acquire more talent is the Pistons. In this trade, the Pistons are able to attain 3 first-round picks while keeping a lottery pick. The Pistons have a pretty empty roster, and getting more picks to take chances on some of these young players while still being able to get a good talent at the end of the lottery makes complete sense. Some names to keep an eye on for the Pistons with these picks are Cole Anthony, Jaheim Ramsey, and Leandro Bolmaro. All in all, both sides benefit from this trade, as the Pistons have more chances to hit on a draft prospect, and the Celtics secure a young player with a high floor who can make an impact off the bench immediately for this team. Number 2. The Knicks trade up to select Lamelo Ball. In this trade, the Knicks give up their 8th pick, 27th pick, 2020 Mavericks first round pick, the Pistons 2021 second round pick, and Frank Ntilikina. The Knicks have been looking everywhere for their future point guard, and in this trade they finally get it in Lamelo Ball. Lamelo Ball is one of the most talented prospects in the entire draft and has playmaking skills that no one has ever seen coming out of a draft prospect. The Knicks are in a position where they have a good amount of young talent on their team in Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett, and more, while having 7 first-round picks in the next 4 years. If the Knicks are able to add Lamelo Ball to this core while keeping all their future first-round picks, RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson, they should pull the trigger immediately. On the other side of things, the Warriors are in a bit of a weird spot because they are in win now mode yet have the 2nd overall pick in the draft. Taking someone that's kind of mid like James Wiseman with a pick this valuable will not be the piece that puts them into championship contention. Instead, the Warriors are able to attain 3 first-round picks and a very high 2021 second-round pick, which still gives them the draft capital to trade for a star like Bradley Beal or Victor Oladipo if they end up becoming available. On top of this, they receive Frank Ntilikina, who is one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire NBA. He's the definition of an elite perimeter defender, and with the incredible guards like Luka and James Harden in the West, he will be able to stop them. He absolutely dominated Luka in the 2 matchups this season and will be a crucial piece to their roster come playoff time. On top of this, he's a good spot-up shooter, and his lack of playmaking will be made up for by Klay, Steph, and Draymond. In these playoffs, we have seen how dominant these top guards are and how valuable lockdown defenders are, as seen by Jeremy Grant and Bam Adebayo. The Warriors could use the picks acquired in this trade along with some of the other valuable young guys on their team to get a top center, and now they are serious championship contenders. All in all, the Knicks get the most talented player in the draft, and the Warriors get draft capital and a lockdown perimeter defender still on his rookie deal. Tell me who you guys think would say no to this trade down below. Number 3. The 76ers trade up for Tyrell Terry. In this trade, the 76ers trade the 21st pick, 34th pick, and the New York Knicks 2021 second round pick for pick 16 from the Blazers. The 76ers are in need of all the shooting they can get, as their 2 stars in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid both clog the paint and shoot poorly from the perimeter. Tyrell is one of the best shooters in the entire draft class and will create tons of floor spacing for Ben and Joel. On top of this, we are starting to see Ben Simmons may be better suited as a forward rather than a point guard, which will allow Tyrell to grow into the starting point guard position. He will need to add a lot of weight to his frame to become a true impact player for this team, but his shooting, playmaking, and fit should be more than enough for the 76ers to trade up for him. With 5 picks in the draft, the 76ers need to make a trade to secure their guy, and Tyrell Terry is just that. On the flip side of things, the Blazers are stuck in mediocrity, and with the emerging young teams in the West, they have a serious shot of missing the playoffs. Sooner or later, the Blazers need to come to the realization that they will not win a championship with this roster, and it's time to blow things up while CJ, Dame, and Nurkic have crazy high value. While this may be something that will happen at the end of the season, in the meantime, the Blazers can prepare themselves by trading for more picks to try and hit on a late gem and attain more future picks. This trade does just that for the Blazers and adds more depth to their roster for this upcoming season. All in all, the Blazers attain more future picks, and the 76ers fill a huge need as they select a top shooter in the draft who is also a great playmaker. Number 4, the Pelicans trade up to pick number 7 for Devin Vassell. In this trade, the Pelicans give the Pistons pick 13, pick 39, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker to move up to the 7th pick in the draft to select Devin Vassell. The Pelicans are in a similar position as the Celtics, where they already have so much depth on this team that they can afford to package together picks in a young player or two to move up in the draft to select a top prospect. Devin Vassell is a great fit for the Pelicans as he provides perimeter shooting and great defense to a team that is lackluster in both areas. With Zion, Jackson Hayes, and Drew Holiday, this team is immediately one of the best defensive teams in the entire NBA. On top of this, Devin has the potential to become a great isolation scorer, and he will learn so much from playing with another great isolation scorer in Brandon Ingram. Taking a shot on a project like Devin Vassell, who will come in immediately and be able to play a 3-and-D role, is a risk worth taking. On the flip side, the Pistons don't have much young talent on their team and are in a position to acquire more picks and young players with potential. Nickeil Alexander-Walker didn't have a very big role with this Pelicans team, but he is a lights-out shooter who needs to add more weight to his frame and be a more consistent player overall. However, he did play very well when he actually had opportunity with this Pelicans team. The Pistons have all the playing time in the world available to develop him and still are able to acquire multiple picks, with one being in the lottery. All in all, the Pelicans are able to select their man in Devin Vassell, while the Pistons get a plethora of young talent to try and fill this empty roster out. Trade number 5. The Kings trade up to pick number 6 for Onyeka Okongwu. The Kings trade away the 12th pick in the draft and Buddy Hield in exchange for the 6th pick and Kevin Huerter from the Hawks. The Sacramento Kings need to make some moves after this underwhelming season, and one way to do this is by trading up in the draft to get Onyeka Okongwu. Onyeka is a defensive monster who will excel in the pick and roll game with De'Aaron Fox. Onyeka is so dominant on the floor as seen by his historically good plus-minus, and will be a much needed defensive anchor for a team who finished in the bottom third of team defensive rating. On top of this, the Kings get a dead-eye shooter in Kevin Huerter, who is still on his rookie deal and has incredible potential. The Kings get rid of Buddy Hield, who is a very talented player that has constantly been complaining about his role with the team. Now he no longer has to complain as he is sent to the Atlanta Hawks, who have sneakily been making some deals to set themselves up for a deep playoff run. With trading for Clint Capella and now Buddy Hield, the Hawks can solidify a starting lineup of Trae Young, Buddy Hield, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella, with tons of future picks, cap space, and young talent off the bench to make another huge splash. The Hawks have their 2 stars in Trae Young and John Collins on their rookie deal still, so in the meantime they need to look to acquire high salary players who add great value to this team. All in all, the Hawks get a significant upgrade at the shooting guard position, while the Kings get 2 incredible young players with significant potential to surround De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley. These are my 5 realistic NBA draft trades that must happen, and hopefully some of the teams in this video can listen and actually make these trades. Tell me what you guys thought about the trades and comment down below what trades you guys want to see happen in the NBA draft. Once again, these trades are by no means exact and try and take away the main pieces. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like. Now with that said, I'm out and peace!